The Opium Wars, a series of conflicts in the mid-19th century between China and Western powers, primarily Britain, over control of the lucrative opium trade. Let's get into it. Opium had been imported into China for centuries, but during the 1800s, Western powers, especially Britain, began to dominate the trade. This was a problem for the Chinese, who saw the drug as a threat to the health and well-being of their population and also a drain on their economy. In addition, the Chinese were suspicious of the motives of the Western powers, who they believed were trying to undermine their authority and influence in Asia. In 1839, the Chinese government, under the rule of the Qing Dynasty, launched a crackdown on opium smuggling. The Qing government confiscated and destroyed huge quantities of opium, leading to protests from British merchants. When negotiations failed, the Chinese confiscated more opium, leading to the First Opium War. The war lasted from 1839 to 1842 and resulted in a decisive victory for the British. The Chinese were defeated due to a combination of factors, including their outdated military technology and their unwillingness to adopt Western strategies and tactics. The British, on the other hand, had a more modern army and navy, as well as a strong industrial base that allowed them to produce and ship large quantities of opium to China. The Treaty of Nanjing, which ended the First Opium War, was highly unfavorable to the Chinese. In addition to having to pay a massive indemnity to the British, the Chinese were forced to open up 5 more ports to foreign trade and to grant British subjects extraterritoriality, meaning that they were exempt from Chinese law. Despite the crushing defeat in the First Opium War, the Chinese refused to accept the terms of the Treaty of Nanjing. The British, in response, launched the Second Opium War in 1856. This war resulted in even greater humiliation for the Chinese. The British captured and occupied Hong Kong Island in 1841 and the city of Canton in 1857. The Second Opium War ended with the Treaty of Tianjin in 1858, which forced the Chinese to accept the terms of the Treaty of Nanjing and to open up another 10 ports to foreign trade. The Opium Wars had a profound impact on China. The country was forced to become a semi-colonial, semi-feudal society, which led to widespread poverty and misery. The Chinese people's confidence in their own culture and institutions was shattered, and the country fell into a century of humiliation. However, the Opium Wars also had an impact on the West, particularly Britain.